102nd meeting between Ball State and Miami. One of the all-time great rivalries in the Mid-American Conference. They'll do it tonight in Muncie, Indiana, with the homestanding Ball State Cardinals wanting to get off the schneid an 0-2 start in league play. These teams met twice last season, once in the regular season here in Muncie. It was a walk-off layup for hometown Jeremiah Davis. Gave the Cardinals the 48-46 W, but Miami got the last laugh. First round of the Mid-American Conference Tournament, Eric Washington fouled with 3 seconds left. He hit both free throws, and Miami advanced to Cleveland as the 11 seed with the 2-point win. With that, we welcome you courtside here at Johnny Worthen Arena. Former Ball State point guard David Iha, Joel Godet, Amanda Smith will be along here shortly. David, it's a great rivalry, and Ball State tonight, hopeful history's on its side.
Well, they really are, and Coach Whitford is hoping this one doesn't come down to the wire. Cards desperately need a win here, Joel. Do not want to start league play 0-3, and most importantly, can ill afford to drop 2 straight games here at home.
It is league play, though, so the challenges never really get any easier. The presumptive freshman of the year in town tonight, it's Miami's Michael Weathers.
Boy, I tell you, what a great young player he is. And talk about a stat sheet stuffer. How about this, Joel? 5th in the league in scoring, 5th in the league in steals, 2nd in the league in assists, and the 6'2" point guard leads the Mid-American Conference in block shots. Michael Weathers, a great young player, certainly somebody the Cards will have to focus on here tonight.
He's on the radar chiefly of Taylor Persons, Ball State's point guard, but Persons also on Weathers.
Well, I tell you, Taylor Persons has been the most consistent player for Ball State. In league play, he's upped his scoring to 18 points per game. No question about it. Taylor Persons is the guy that makes this Ball State team go.
Take a look at the starting lineups here this evening, starting with Miami 8-7, 1-1 in the league. Marcus and Michael Weathers, they are fraternal twins, so they don't look exactly alike. Abdoulaye Haruna, who can stroke the 3. Logan McLean coming off a 25-point performance, and Rod Mills off a career-high 20 in their loss to Toledo. For Ball State, lineup looks a little bit different for the first time in 7 games. David Francis Kiapwe in. Sean Sellers will come off the bench.
Well, Coach Whitford shuffling the deck a little bit, Joel, trying to find answers after that 0-2 start and particularly poor performance against Bowling Green. Playing time has to be earned.
Cardinals come in 9-6, 0-2 in conference. Let's introduce you for the first time to the third member of our crew and say hey to Amanda Smith.
Joel, you mentioned the strength of Michael Weathers. This is a guy that leads his team in assists, steals, blocks, offensive rebounds, and scoring. Now, knowing that, James Whitford said he's the type of player you have to defend at all levels because there's not one specific area of the game where he stands out. He can drive to the rim, he can shoot threes, and he has the ability to make plays for his team. Now, he told me he defines him as an elite playmaker, passer, and defender, and he said that tonight he's looking for his team in Ball State to make Miami play on the glass, grabbing offensive rebounds, but not giving up second chance shots on the other end.
David, James Whitford uses the word elite a lot. You heard Amanda say it, but he said about Michael Weathers, he's legit elite. So that's a whole nother level.
Well, there's no question about it. The one chink in Michael Weathers' armor, he's had a ability to get into foul trouble. Taylor Persons is a guy that likes to post up, so that's something to watch. Can Weathers stay out of foul difficulty?
Moses and McLean for the tip. It is controlled and won by Ball State as we get underway for the 102nd meeting between the Red Hawks and Cardinals.
And I think because of that fact, Weathers, well, they've switched off, so he now does have Taylor Persons.
Ball State averaging 77 a game. Taylor Persons 15 a game, but misses the day's first shot. And here comes Weathers. Michael Weathers, 18 points per game. He scored 20 in 5 of his first 7 collegiate games. Welcome to Division I, young fellow. Haruna driving on Weathers. Shot clock down inside 10. Very patient Miami attack. And it gets a triple from Haruna, who knocked in 5 against Northern Illinois. A win in Miami's MAC opener.
Well, really good possession, as you said. Very good patience for Miami, and Haruna definitely capable of knocking that one in.
Tipped ball will stay with the Cardinals. Unsettled, nearly got Persons a clean coast to the bucket. Pass just a little behind him as we get a look at John Cooper. One of the friendlier guys in this league. Love catching up with John Cooper every time Miami comes through.
No question about it. Super nice guy, good coach, good recruiter, and certainly gracious with his time with us before the game.
Former Tennessee State head coach down in the Ohio Valley Conference. And turnovers go both ways. James Whitford in his 4th season at Ball State. The Sean Miller disciple, followed him from Xavier to Arizona and then back to the Midwest. James Whitford, an assistant, an administrative assistant, a graduate assistant. He was everything in Miami coming up through the coaching ranks back in the 90s.
A lot of relationships here, and you look at Jason Grunkemeyer, of course, a terrific player at Miami. And these coaching staffs know each other well and get along well.
Franco House's first touch for Ball State. Go-to player on offense, although not the leading scorer. And he draws early contact, put him at the line.
Well, Joe, you have to feel it's a conscientious effort to get the ball into Franco House. Yes, this team is capable of knocking down a lot of threes, but when you're not hitting them, and you've got 2 guys in House and Moses that are at the top of the league in field goal percentage, you can't forget about them down there on the block.
Foul on Rod Mills is his first. And House, nearly an 80% free throw shooter, which is a tremendous luxury down in the paint.
He's really upped that part of his game from last year.
Cardinals middle of the pack in the Mid-American Conference in free throw shooting. They get a couple out of House and back within a point here as Weathers streaks ahead. Has not taken a shot yet for Miami. And on cue, too strong off the glass.
That's his game. Loves to drive and slash and get to the rim.
Moses, a tremendous passer, averaging a double-double lately, though, last 12 games. And he gets going early.
Well, no double team came. Trey waited for it. Very good patience. Nice little jump hook.
Used a lot of ball screens for Weathers. Cardinals did a good job to turn him away. McClain off the double clutch. Good tempo early. And a slam for Weber. Not something you see out of the senior that often.
Boy, the blow by on Rod Mills, and maybe that's what Ryan Weber needs to get him going. Just 2 points against Bowling Green.
Straight on 3 for Mills. That's where he gets his looks from deep, a pick and pop 4. Weathers left open. That's the brother Marcus. He is the younger by a couple of minutes, although the bigger by a couple of pounds. And Persons will go to the stripe.
Well, that's the second time in 3 possessions. As you see Weber just the blow by and the flush. And last time it was Taylor Persons, Joe, getting all the way to the rim. Not a Miami defender there to stop the drive. So certainly that's something John Cooper wants to address with his ball club.
Foul on Marcus. Weathers was his first, team's second. You know, Ryan Weber, we saw Ball State in St. Louis in their opener this year, and Weber, I think, had 2 dunks in that game. We remarked to him afterwards, when's the last time you dunked? Because we were curious. It had to have been a long time ago, and he just sly smile said, about 15 minutes ago.
Ryan Weber is a guy at Ball State needs to be more consistent. Had 0 points at North Florida, then 19 in the first half at Kent, and then just 2 against Bowling Green.
Back-to-back turnovers. It's a pair on each team.
And let's face it, that has been the Achilles heel of Ball State, Joel. In their 2 MAC losses, 18 turnovers a game. Way too many. You cannot win games turning it over that much.
Redhawks 2 for 5. And another turnover. Now make it 3 for Miami. Only had 12 turnovers in their loss to Toledo. As much as turnovers have been a problem for the Cardinals, not so much for the Redbirds.
Well, it hasn't, and that's been a point of emphasis with John Cooper. He talks to his team about 10 turnovers max. That's a tough goal to achieve, but that's the one he sets each time out.
Moses wants it in the post and loves the matchup on the smaller Weathers. And Haruna has the air ball. And that will stay with Ball State. Good job by Brooks Wells on the far side, asking for help.
And John Cooper's telling Mr. Wells, Mr. Haruna did not exactly fall out of bounds on his own volition there.
Cardinals will make a couple of substitutions. Weber and House go out with Kiapwe, so wholesale changes. Ty Tajay Teague is in. Jeremy Tyler is in, 25 and 22 respectively in white.
James Whitford does this often before the first media timeout. By Franco House a little rest. Tajay Teague held scoreless against Bowling Green. First time all season that happened.
Sean Sellers at the top of the screen, also in off the bench. One of the most deadly three-point shooters, not just in this conference, but in the Midwest. And Abdullah Haruna fouls him 30 feet from the bucket because you cannot give him space. Ball State leads by 1. First 4-minute war in the books. So many ties between Ball State and Miami. As great a rivalry as this is, it's a kind of friendly one as well. Let's go back to 2000. Wally Szczerbiak of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Jason Grunkemeyer. We just saw him on the other bench. And James Whitford. There he is next to the legendary Charlie Coles. And there's Jason Grunkemeyer. That 3 sent this game into overtime. There would be 2 more overtimes. A 3-overtime thriller. Miami victorious. It's one of 11 overtime games out of 101 previous that these teams have played. They like each other.
A ton of drama in this series, a lot of terrific players, and take a look at Jason Grunkemeyer, great shooter, great free throw shooter, and a terrific assistant coach for Ball State. And Miami, Joel, changes defenses often. They played 3 different defenses against Toledo, come out of the timeout, a little half-court zone trap.
See how Ball State does identifying and being able to work in different offensive sets. Defense into offense, and Marcus Weathers goes to the line. We talked with James Whitford before the game and said, what kind of defense does Miami play? And he rattled them off like spitfires. 1-3-1, 2-3 matchup, 1-2-2, 2-2-1. They switch their man, they trap, and they do zone baseline out of bounds. Yes.
Yeah, they mix it up. They started in Toledo, at Toledo in a 3-2 zone. Tonight they come out man-to-man. And free throw shooting cold for both teams. Ball State 2 for 4. Miami just 1 for 3. And that's an area Miami has struggled at this season. 11th in the MAC in free throw shooting at just 67%. In fact, in their win against Northern Illinois, just 10 for 24 from the free throw line.
Yeah, you can't miss 14 free throws and win a lot of games. They got lucky. 2-point win in DeKalb.
And it's kind of interesting, Joel, you talk about the history of these programs. Darius Harper checks in. No relation to one Ron Harper.
His name hangs in Millett Hall in Oxford. Trey Moses. Baseline flush and the second dunk for the Cardinals.
And that's what you got to do. Credit Jeremy Tyler attacking that trap, drawing the defense, the nice little bounce pass.
Redhawks 2 for their first 5 from the floor. Have yet to get Michael Weathers going at the top of the key. Persons marking him and turning him over. Jeremy Tyler. Boy, he saw the fireworks. Miami gets bailed out. Almost the over-athleticism of Tyler.
And Joel, it's unbelievable. In pregame, literally, he probably dunked about 7 in a row that exact way, jumping off of 2 feet.
Second chance for Tyler. It's a layup.
Back to the old fundamentals for Jeremy Tyler. You know, the great thing about that, though, Coach Whitford was not upset that he missed the dunk. He was simply imploring Jeremy to get back on defense.
5 turnovers for Miami. Ball State capitalizing, now a 4-point lead. 6 minutes in.
And early on, the thing you've got to say is the terrific defense. And talk about defense, Moses there, but Taylor Persons has done the job early on Michael Weathers.
They get the charge on Darius Harper. Probably the biggest guy in the post in this conference. Just south of 300 pounds between him and Big Dog Johnson at Akron.
Well, I tell you, 6'8", 295. Joel, one of the recruiting services had him as a top 50 offensive tackle. He's a young man that had offers from Boston College, Illinois, Maryland, but elected to come to Miami to play hoops.
Let's go to Amanda.
Well, James Whitford had told me that in practice, they've really been focusing on adjusting to all the different defenses Miami has. He said it's all about taking care of the ball, telling me they've prepared in practice by going through drills that force the guys to make the right reads. And by doing that, he said hopefully they're going to turn over the ball less. But so far, we've seen a lot of fast breaking by Ball State with Miami turning over the ball.
See if the Cardinals get out and run here, try to beat different defenses down the floor. That is one strategy.
Well, it is, and particularly when you have bigs like Franco House that'll run the floor and reward you.
And get the block on Haruna. That's the second on the Miami junior. Cardinals asking to count the bucket. They've not yet put it on the scoreboard. And now they'll count it.
Yeah, great entry. Haruna just a step late. You know, they didn't point to the restricted arc. He was inside of it, and that's an important foul, Joel. Haruna is Miami's best defensive player. So him exiting the game right now, typically he's charged with guarding Ball State's best perimeter player.
Not only that, he leads the team in plus minus. So when he's on the floor, statistically speaking, that's the best Miami team you get. And he'll be on the bench unless Miami rolls the dice for the next 13 and a half. Now Ball State more than doubling up Miami here in the early going. Logan McLean back in. Coming off a 25-point performance. Career high for McLean last time out against Toledo. Dion Wade off the bench for the first time, top of the screen. And we've got a foul underneath with Weathers on the ground. Wade, the Auburn transfer, crazy hops. Kiapwe picks up his first for Ball State. And you got to look at Wade.
This guy grew up in Belgium. His father played pro basketball over there. Speaks 4 languages.
English, Dutch, French, Arabic. I got 1. What about you?
Yeah,
I got English.
I'm good.
Broken Spanish. 1 1/3.
One thing I'll say about Weathers, he's not forcing it. And another turnover for Miami.
Right out of Wade's hands. Inside the house. Cardinals have yet to attempt a 3. 7 minutes in. And Kiapwe. There's a whistle underneath. That's going to stay with Ball State. One of the best three-point shooting teams on a good night in the country. 7 minutes to take a 3.
Well, and I think a little of that is by design. As we said, they've been struggling behind the arc. At least that time they went inside out, got a wide open look.
Off the hands of Marcus Weathers.
And I know an area of concern for John Cooper coming into this game has been rebounding. His ball club being out-rebounded by almost 3 a game. Cardinals a great rebounding team.
First 2 threes don't go down. 1 from Kiapwe, 1 from Sellers. And Weathers in transition will go to the line. Takes things into his own hands. First bucket for Michael Weathers.
And that's when he's at his best, Joel. He gets a full head of steam. So hard to stop on the fly like that. And man, does he get to the free throw line a lot. This will be his 108th free throw attempt.
For a 6'2", 160 guard.
Put that in context, the leading free throw shooter for Ball State is Taylor Persons, who's been there 70 times.
But different body types too. Persons is a bulkier, you figure he's going to go down there, and he does. Post up smaller guards, bang in the post. Weathers, with a strong wind, could be carried from Oxford to Cincinnati.
And here comes the trap.
They've got the freshman Teague locked up. He walked. And Lamont Simpson calling him on it. Turnover number 4, although Miami has 7. So neither team hanging on to possession the way it would like here.
Well, Tajay Teague tried to step through that trap, just could not do it. Another turnover. You'd have to say right now the changing of defenses is causing the Cardinals some problems.
Weathers triple. rolls it through. Team's leader in three-point percentage, Marcus Weathers, 44% as a freshman. And House turns it over in trouble. Eighth Miami turnover. Sixth Ball State turnover. Put back dunk, Weathers missed it. And a foul underneath. But Weathers is down underneath the bucket. And the Miami athletic trainers will tend to him. Ball State leading by 1. Weathers connecting from deep. Ball State leads by 1, but Miami fighting for the basketball underneath, David. James Whitford livid after Ball State's loss to Bowling Green when it comes to hustle plays. This is what he's talking about.
Well, no question about it. I mean, these are those 50-50 balls, a long rebound, the extra possession by Miami, sloppy turnovers. You know, turnovers are part of toughness as well, Joel. So, you know, right now, Miami quicker to the basketball, and that's exactly what you saw Saturday versus Bowling Green.
You saw Marcus Weathers go down at the end of that clip as well before the break. Amanda was right there as he was getting attended to.
Yeah, Dan, we saw Marcus Weathers grabbing at his eye when he went down on that last play. Well, the athletic trainer ran over. It ended up being his contacts fell out, so he ran over back to the bench, put some solution on it. It's back in his eye, and we see him back in the game.
You know, the good news is at least he put the solution in it. Because kids these days, you might just pop that thing back in, and nobody wants that.
No regard. Got to use the solution. A couple big free throws by McLean. 62%. You know, Joel was interesting. Against Northern Illinois, McLean went 0 for 7 from the foul line. Came back in their last game 6 for 6. So clearly has his confidence back from the charity stripe.
Ball State trying to get it inside to Franco House. Outsized, which is something rare by Logan McLean down there.
McLean's doing a good job denying Franco House. And he did catch it, but look how far out.
And with 4 to shoot, little jump is good. That's his best shot, when he can turn around and just kind of float it up over top of you. Franco House is good.
When Franco House gets double-digit field goal attempts, Joel, I think Ball State is at their best. You've got to get him involved. Then you'll force double teams, and that frees others up. Really
good look by Weathers, but a better strip by Tyler. Turnover number 9 for Miami. And a triple from Weber.
And how about the find from Taylor Persons? Knew all along where his shooters were running to the wing and the corner, and finds Weber in transition.
You alluded to it earlier, David. Ryan Weber, last 6 games for the Cardinals. 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 6 from 3 in that stretch. The 0 for 6 tied for his worst shooting night in his career. Went back to his freshman season. Good for Ball State for him to stroke it. And for Taylor Persons.
And Exhibit A, Joe, on going inside out. Did you see that? A quick entry to Franco House. 2 players ran to House. The nice kick out, the wide open triple.
Ball State leads the league in assists. And when it has big assist nights, it's when it's money. Another, no, almost Miami turnover. But the shot clock down to nothing. Weathers weaves. And they've got a foul on Tyler underneath. Pretty good block after the fact, but that won't count. It's the first on Jeremy Tyler.
Just a great example of how Weathers is able to slice and dice the defense. House a little late with the help. But again, back to the free throw line for Weathers, and give him credit, Joel. I mean, they've played really good D. He is not forcing it for a guy that averages 17 a game. He's letting it come to him.
Huge assist guy as well. 9 in the loss to Toledo. 23 in the last 3 games. And that's why I think freshman of the year, I know it's early, but you have to imagine it's half in the bag for Michael Weathers.
Yeah, you really have to. And it's going to be fun to watch this young man develop. And I tell you, watch him in interviews. He's just a delightful young man, just carries himself as his brother very well. And we'll talk more about how a kid from Kansas City and his twin brother end up in Oxford. Quite the story from Coach John Cooper on the recruiting trail.
Quite the ankle break there. Persons blows by him. And a good recovery block by Harper. Good dish by Weber. And no foul as Moses tried to lay it in. The short story of it, you mentioned Kansas City in there. John Cooper, Kansas City native. Same hometown. That's where the ties began. John Cooper grew up idolizing the brother's father, also named Michael Weathers. Watched him play basketball when John Cooper was just a young.
Yeah, terrific story and quite the recruiting coup. You know, it got on him a little bit late, and then as happens in the AAU circuit, teams like Creighton, Kansas State jumped on Michael Weathers. The brothers and their mother decided, look, we want these guys to go together. And certainly Marcus Weathers capable of earning a D1 scholarship. John Cooper had 2 scholarships available. They were looking for a wing and a guard. So everything worked out. They had never taken a step on campus until they arrived.
A foul on Ball State will send Marcus to the line. And Taylor Persons called for his first. Ball State gets lucky there because that could have been on Kiapwe. That would have been his 3rd here in the first half. It tells you the importance of relationships, though. They never, and Miami is a wonderful campus, but the Weathers brothers never went to Oxford. They trusted in John Cooper, who was a guy from their hometown, who had a relationship, even if it was just ethereal, with their father. Second one for Marcus. (21-18). Ball State leads by 3, looking for its first Mid-American Conference win.
And Joel, this press is so top heavy. If you can get past that first wave, you can get some easy shots.
Weber on the drive-by. It's the same one he passed up the last possession. This time he has points 6 and 7, and Ball State back up 5.
Well, good start for Ryan Weber. And another steal by Taylor Persons.
That's incredible. 10 Miami turnovers. They get it back. And Weathers back to the line. And Moses flabbergasted. Trey Moses hit with his first. What do you think? Yeah.
I think there's some arm in there, no question about it. But let's go back to the turnovers. You mentioned 10 for Miami, 8 for Ball State. How many sequences have we seen where it's been back-to-back turnovers? So if one of these teams could start taking care of the basketball, you could see a real run here.
Without looking at the play-by-play, I'm inclined to think the turnover margin is just the legitimate 2 there, and that the other 8 were a complete wash.
I totally agree. And both teams have scored 7 points off, so there you go.
Weathers is 72% free throw shooter. His brother's 78%. So Michael wins that tally. Eight points for Marcus Weathers. That's his average. The lighter scoring of the 2, but he's been the go-to weapon here tonight. Persons falling down, and it's Weathers on the takeaway. Michael not on the floor, Marcus in the spotlight. And the point guard duties falling to Jake Bischoff, the D2 and D3 transfer. He's played in both levels. That'll stay with Miami. And it'll be a Red Hawk basketball when we come back. Ball State taking advantage of turnovers for a 3-point lead. Miami trails by 3 on the road. David, on the season, the Red Hawks have turned it over maximum 20 times. They've given it up 10 in the first 12 minutes.
That is the number John Cooper's looking for an entire game, but Ball State has helped them out with 9 miscues of their own. So right now, it's which team can take care of the basketball, and not get so many empty possessions.
The other thing is they've made up for it. Free throw line, 11th in the MAC coming in, but tonight 11 for 12.
And I tell you, Ball State has been to the free throw line just 5 times, has made 3. Not uncommon. Cardinals have been outshot at the free throw line by 59 this season.
Michael Weathers remains on the bench for Miami here. Their leading scorer, the presumptive freshman of the year, Bischoff, still in at point. And he finds McLean.
Bischoff's a guy that's not going to give you a lot of scoring, but very steady. Senior, walk-on. That was just a terrific entry.
Started his career at Concord, then Otterbein, D2 and D3 schools, before winding up in Oxford, where his father went to school.
Joe, I live in Columbus. He played high school ball up in my school district, a very fine high school player, and he's getting big-time minutes for a senior walk-on right now.
I thought you were going to say very fine high school, but that's just because your Texas go there. That's bias.
That's a good point, too.
Rod Mills has a 3 backing off the bench. Redhawks are 2 of 7 from behind the stripe. Haruna has the other, who's on the bench with a couple fouls. Now it's Mills in the post. And Teague the block shot. Teague's capable, more than capable. People dare him, but 39% for the season.
Well, Joey's 6 for 14 out there. It doesn't look tremendously pretty, but he's very efficient. And like you said, you're going to leave him that wide open. No question he can knock it in.
Double team comes. McLean the kick for Weathers. And you can let that one go.
You know, we talk about the stat sheet stuffing of Weathers, but Tajay Teague, as a freshman, has really established himself as well. He's 3rd in the MAC in block, 12 in rebounding, 10th in field goal percentage, so kind of under the radar a little bit.
You've got the 2, I want to say best, because sometimes the best freshmen don't play because there's people in front of them, they're at other programs, but sometimes you have the 2 best freshman players in the league right now on the same court. Michael Weathers and Tajay Teague. And Michael Weathers is back in, by the way, top of the screen. That's a 2 for Kiapway.
Great use of the ball fake there. When you ball fake, you want to show the ball above your head, got the defender to fly. One dribble, not getting a little mid-range.
Sellers with the foul, and Weathers back to the line. Marcus Weathers has 10 first-half points.
A little high-low action. Terrific pass by Mills, and Weathers getting to the free throw line. This will be his 7th free throw attempt. He's 5 of 6.
And House pulls down the rebound for the Cardinals. Ball State on the glass. That is their 11th to 9 for Miami, but a turnover. Weathers. And a foul. It's on Dion Wade. Push from behind for the Redhawks.
Well, Ball State got a huge break there, an unforced turnover. Tajay Teague, the little strip, and Weathers missed the layup, and out of all that, Ball State ends up shooting 1 and 1.
Tough foul for Wade to take. He goes to the bench with his 2nd. And the 1 and 1 puts Francis Kiapway at the line, who's Ball State's best free throw shooter. Well, David, how often does a missed layup at one end lead to made free throws at the other? That's the saying, isn't it?
My favorite UB Brown line, and talk about how prophetic that is. And Joel, it's interesting, you know, we find ourselves in the same juncture here at the 5-minute mark. Ball State found themselves in at Bowling Green, had a lead, weren't able to extend it, instead allowed Bowling Green to gather some momentum going into that half. It's an 8-point game now. Can Ball State extend? Can Miami get back in this thing with the last 5 minutes?
A couple of points at the line for Kiapway. 7 Ball State players have scored for the largest lead of the night. Weathers Long on the triple, and House out of there clean.
I think for the first time tonight, Weathers forced the action. You could get that shot later on in the shot clock.
Teague. And one for Tajay Teague. You could sense it at the free throw line. He was taking off. Gets it to go.
And a terrific call by Brooks Wells. Points to the restricted arc. No question about it. Mills' foot on the line.
Ball State shooting 59%. That keeps up. It would be the 5th time this season. Cardinals offense has clicked at that clip.
You know, and it's interesting, Joey, say Ball State shooting 59%, Miami 33%. How come the lead's not 20 instead of 10? Miami getting it done at the foul line. 10 free throws to Ball State's 5, but it's been the turnovers. Had Ball State not thrown it away, as efficient as they've been on offense, could be even higher.
Four to shoot for Michael Weathers. Dumped off and at the buzzer. That's tipped away. Ball State has it. Bruno Solomon had that shot. First action for him off the bench. Freshman out of Croatia. One of 6 internationals on the Miami roster. And the guy from Kansas City commits the foul. That is the first on Michael Weathers. His brother also has one. That's 1 and 1, the 9th foul on Miami.
Taylor Persons, 78% free throw shooter, 0 for 2 in his first trip.
Student section has returned with classes resuming this week. They are behind the bucket where Taylor was shooting. They all hum a high-pitched, I don't even know what it is, but it's I guess a prayer for the free throws to go in. So that sound has returned to Worthen Arena. Band back as well after a month hiatus. Solomon missing the turnaround. That's a Ball State basketball. 10-point lead for the home team. Cardinals trying to pick up their first Mid-American Conference win against their arch rival. Ball State leading Miami by 10 here inside Worthen Arena, trying to pick up its first conference win of the season. And David, 0-2 start. Last 6 seasons, 15 teams have done it. Only Western Michigan in 2013 wound up with a winning record, won 7 consecutive games to follow, but those are the 4 postseason teams. Some other NCAA teams that have started slow in conference this year. Oklahoma State, 32nd in the Ken Pomeroy rankings, 0-3 in the Big 12, although lost to Baylor and West Virginia. But you're in decent company with that mix. You feel like things start to click. Maybe Ball State can make the right jump here.
Well, the most important thing, Joe, is protecting the home court. And isn't it amazing how things get amped up? Doesn't matter what the league is once conference play starts.
There's a whole nother level.
And if you look at the MAC so far this year, home teams are 10-2. The 2 teams that lost at home were the 2 favorites in the MAC West, Ball State and Eastern Michigan.
McClain against House, blindside block, and they'll get Teague for the foul. First on the freshman, Tajay Teague. That's the 10th on Ball State. And the team that's got the league's leading scorer, the nation's leading scorer, Marcus Keene at Central Michigan. Chippewa's also 0-2, so pick them at some point. Logan McClain, 62% for the season.
And there again, the high-low entry. House with a good job, all ball, but Teague did get the foul from behind.
And can Franco House be awarded the block? Teague gets the foul. 11 points, the Ball State lead. They trap Teague again. And those are the hustle plays that James Whitford wanted to see out of his guys. Foul on Miami. That's now 10 on the Red Hawks. So 2 free throws each way for the next 2:50.
And if you're Miami, that's twice tonight where you had near turnovers. Ball State could not have been more sloppy in that possession. And when it's all said and done, you head to the free throw line.
Tajay Teague, 54% at the line.
And Ball State just 5 for 10 from the free throw stripe right now.
6 for 11. And 6 points for Tajay Teague. That's been what's kept Miami in it. The Red Hawks are 11 of 14 at their free throw line. And the 3 from Solomon, rebounded by Sean Sellers. House unguarded, and foul on the floor. McLean took a spill, and it took a split second for Franco House to realize there was nobody there.
Yeah, watch this. He fell down. Franco said, okay, wait a minute. I don't feel a double team.
I don't feel a single team.
It's been a steady parade of foul shooting.
They got the foul on Michael Weathers. That's the second on Miami's leading scorer, but House visibly upset.
You know, and it's interesting, John Cooper even mentions in talking to Steve Baker from Miami radio that when Weathers gets into foul difficulty, it's often from being out of position or trying to help and fouling in instances where he really doesn't need to, and put that one in that category, and that's a big foul as he exits.
Largest lead of the game now, Franco House, game high 10 points with the made free throw.
Tell you, critical final 2 minutes for both these teams.
McLean does have some range, but has not answered the 25-point night he had in Toledo.
And it's been one and done for Miami.
Odd entry pass and a jump ball called. Miami gets possession. Credit Logan McLean getting in there.
Well, I think you called it there, Joel, an odd entry. That is a tough angle to make. And really, I mean, that was terrific defense. Trey really wasn't open. That's one of those unforced turnovers. You didn't need to make that pass to get the entry. Throw it to the wing, try to enter it from there.
Miami shooting just 27% in the first half. Juxtapose that against Ball State's 61. 5 to shoot. And Bischoff's 3 is long.
And Miami now 2 for 11 behind the arc.
Persons has played with tempo all night, but he's played wise as well. If there's not been anything there, he's pulled it back out. House on McLean, and 1 for Franco House. 12 out of the captain. When his team needs a W, Franco House trying to step up here tonight.
And Joel, that's why Franco House is such a tough matchup. Caught that ball all the way on the wing. The big fella put it on the deck and finishes with the left hand in contact.
13 now for House. Ball State points in the paint, leading 18-8.
Franco House a perfect 4 of 4 from the field.
Well, David, a minute to go in the half. How's Miami start to work its way back in?
Well, got to try to find some success from outside, and you don't have Michael Weathers out there to try to slice and dice the defense.
Bischoff will get himself to the line, though. This will be 2 free throws for the fifth-year senior. And we'll get Trey Moses for his second. And Tajay Teague will come get him. Try to prevent that third foul with just 48 seconds to go in the half.
Well, Bischoff doesn't get to the free throw line often. 3 of 6 now on the season. And Moses is going to exit. Coach Whitford certainly doesn't want him to pick up his 3rd foul at this juncture.
'30th free throw of the half combined. Both teams. And Bischoff in the scorebook. Only 5 Redhawks have scored. Ball State has 7. Persons looking for his second triple, and Teague an offensive rebound. Smart throwing that off of Jake Wright. He preserves possession, and now Ball State can essentially hold for the last shot here.
And watch how active Tajay Teague is. You see that, Joel? Everybody was standing and looking, but not Tajay Teague. Aggressively running to the rim on the weak side. That's what you have to do to be a good offensive rebounder, and he's one of the best.
There is a 0.5-second difference, game clock and shot clock, so Ball State's going to play this out.
And we'll see if they'll go with a high pick and roll. Franco House, you want to go here with about 6. Don't allow Miami any extra possession.
5 seconds, Persons gets it. 17-point lead. Bischoff will heave, and the Cardinals take that 17-point advantage into the locker room. Ball State needed a bounce back, and for 20 minutes, the Cardinals have gotten one. 17 points is the halftime difference. Ball State in front of Miami. Cardinals 0-2 in Mid-American Conference play, trying to right the ship here while the season is still young. Mentioned off the top, 102nd meeting between these two teams. Miami leads comfortably. Miami is the winningest team in Mid-American Conference history, even leading here in Muncie. So Ball State trying to even the score here at home.
Yeah, some terrific battles over the years. And Joel, oftentimes I'm asked the question, who's the best player you ever played against? Without question, Ron Harper. In his day, 2-time MAC Player of the Year, first-round pick in the NBA, was a phenomenal player, athlete.
Gonna date myself here. Also the guy I went to shoot threes on NBA Jam. He was on fire.
Well, it's interesting. When he got to the NBA and he had a couple knee injuries, people, if you didn't see him in college, just could not imagine how athletic he was. And I mean, some of the dunks, and just a phenomenal player.
David Eha, Joel Gaudette, Amanda Smith, the rest of our crew here in Muncie. Ball State dominated in the first half, 62% from the floor. Miami just 26%, but an early tip back. Maybe that gets the offensive juices flowing.
Yeah, nice job, Logan McLean, getting the putback off the offensive rebound. And let's see if Michael Weathers doesn't try to maybe be a little bit more aggressive in this half.
House gets the first look offensively. And look at the foul on Rod Mills. That is 2 on the big out of Cincinnati.
And Joel, you can almost put it in the books coming out of halftime. The ball ends up in Franco House's hands in that first possession. Always try to go to him on that first possession out of the half.
A little strong on the free throw. House just has more bulk than Mills, and you see him use it. One out of 2 for Franco House. Game high 14 for the Cardinals captain. Abdoulaye Haruna is back in for Miami, by the way. Top of the screen, number 30 in red. Sat the final 14 minutes with foul trouble in the first half. There's Mills, and he's harmed on the other end. Giveth and taketh away. That's the first foul on Ball State.
Boy, that's a terrific dime by Weathers. Not a lot of room there. When you talk about football, passing a guy open was almost exactly what Weathers did on that dime.
Foul on Taylor Persons in the background there, his second. Mills a 65% shooter.
Joe, you mentioned all the fouls in the first half. We had 23. You've got the Red Hawks, 4 players with 2. Ball State, 3 with 2. We've had 2 fouls called early on.
See what kind of implications that has down the stretch. In the last game Ball State played, Isha Ali, the really highly touted point guard from Bowling Green, fouled out. With about 7 minutes to go, his team did hang on, but certainly there was an impact there. Mills has been the go-to here in the second half. And the 3 from McLean is low. They're running the offense through the big.
The Cardinals have numbers.
And another turnover. Story of the first half. Michael Weathers. Just his second field goal for Miami's leading scorer.
And again, if he gets ahead of steam in the open court, almost unstoppable, able to score with either hand.
Patient Cardinals offense. Did not bury a ton of threes in the first half. Just 3 for 9. David, that was a lot by design. So here's Weber. Now just 3 for 10. Not looking for threes tonight.
Well, and I think they're doing a better job of at least making entry passes into the block, giving the bigs a touch, and then going inside out.
McLean stripped underneath, trying to save possession. And timeout taken by Miami. Somehow, there wasn't a 3-second call in there. Redhawks salvage it, though. They'll have the basketball when we come back. Ball State and Miami, a 17-point halftime lead, down to 13. David, we've mentioned the rivalry. This is 2005. You remember this one well. Miami wins on a shot that should never have counted. The horn expires there, and the putback. James Whitford was an assistant coach on that staff, and Nathan Peavy got on the bus and got out of here.
I broadcast that game, remember it well.
Yeah, crazy things happen sometimes.
No doubt, particularly in this series.
It was before the days of HD television, by the way.
Great hesitation by Weathers there.
Him 9 points, and now an 11-point lead.
And he's asking to come out, Joel. He came up a little bit lame there. He was motioning over to Coach Cooper saying, hey, I need to come out. Let's see if he's able to finish this possession.
He's guarding Taylor Persons. There's a poke away and a foul. Pardon, that's Marcus Weathers that was guarding him. Michael had switched into the post.
And they're going to get Taylor Persons for a push-off here. That's a good call. He got his forearm out there. And they're going to go to the monitor to see if this is a flagrant.
That is 3 on Persons. And both sides will use this as a bonus timeout. While Frank Spencer takes a look, Lamont Simpson and Brooks Wells as well. Let's take a look at it again.
Well, there's no question it was a foul, but I don't think you can say that that was a flagrant.
I think it looked uglier because Weathers' face hit Persons' shoulder and the head whiplashed back. And he did do a good sell job.
He did. And Ball State better be careful here. Miami has crept back in this. Lead is down to 11. Red Hawks are going to have the ball. Cardinals 0 for 3 shooting in this first half with 2 quick turnovers. Meanwhile, the Red Hawks come out 3 of 5 to start the second frame. And looks like Weathers is okay. Joey's going to stay in here. And I look for more high pick and roll situations.
Cardinals have had a couple of players go off in the second halves of games. And Marcus Weathers ran out of bounds taking that basketball. So the Cardinals get it back on another Miami turnover. The Red Hawks 11th. Ball State against North Florida this year. Dallas Moore, who's in the top 20 in scoring nationally, went off. Had 24 second half points against the Cardinals. DiMaggio Wiggins for Bowling Green had a great second half just this past weekend.
Well, Miami back to the half-court trap. Let's see if Cardinals made some adjustments and not handle that particularly well in the first half. Good ball movement.
Triple for Francis Kiapway, his first of the night. Weathers, good pass to Mills, and a push will send him to the line. Foul is on Moses. 3 on the Cardinals center. No, they got it on House. Excuse me.
Well, Franco left his man to try to stop the penetration of Weathers. A little late on the recovery, and back to the free throw line goes Miami.
Could have made it a 12-point game with both free throws here for Mills. Ron Mills has only scored at the free throw line tonight. 2 points.
And that last three by Kiapway was a big basket for him. He had made just 3 of his last 12 triples.
Moses trying to pass out of the double team got fouled. And that'll bring us to the under 16. Ball State still holding on to its lead, 47-34 here in Muncie. Ball State leading Miami here inside Worthen Arena. It's the bongo cam going on in the arena if you couldn't make that one out. David Ehad, Joel Gadet, Amanda Smith, Dan Wolford, our statistician, rest of our crew. David, take a look at the foul just before the timeout on Michael Weathers.
Just what we talked about in the first half, Joel. Michael Weathers picking up unnecessary fouls. And you can't see it on the replay, but he helped down on a double team on Trey Moses. You know, in that situation, just mirror the basketball. No need to reach in and cause a foul, and he picks up his third. So those are the types of fouls he needs to avoid moving forward. Miami, no question, needs him out there.
Getting to the point where 3 fouls isn't as much of a burden, but something to keep an eye on. Kiapway buries back-to-back threes for the Cardinals, one just before the timeout.
And that's how you make a team pay, Joel. You go inside on the block. Weathers ducked down. All it took was one step towards Trey Moses, the kick out to a wide-open Kiapway.
Sean Sellers trying to steal it. Dumbfounded that he got hit for a foul. That is 2 on Sellers.
Cardinal foul 34, Sean Sellers with his 3rd team score.
Miami 3 of 5 in the second half. He's taken 5 shots in almost 5 minutes. Weathers kicks to his brother. Brother to brother there. Well, they always say twins have that telekinesis steal.
No doubt. And that was a terrific pass. On time, on target, right in the shooter's pocket for his brother.
13 points for Marcus Weathers, the bigger and younger of the 2 twins. I mean that seriously, too, by the way. There was an article on ESPN.com about twins in sports. Sellers is wide open. And the rebound by Haruna. A lot of twins in basketball. The Lopez's, Brooke and Robin. You've got Markieff and Marcus Morris, who played at Kansas, later for the Suns. And they quote a former Harvard professor in that story who talks about the fact that sometimes twins just do have that sense, and it gets heightened in moments of emotion, like playing sports.
Hey, I believe it. I think what's unique is fraternal twins, one 6'2", the other one 6'5". That's something you don't see very often.
Logan McClain missing the front end.
And I believe Michael, the older of the 2, by 7 minutes.
Older and the smaller, and self-proclaimed more energetic. Logan McClain, off of his 25-point career high, now has 10 for Miami. Redhawks are back within 12, trailed by 17 at the break. Fighting here in the second half. Kiapway driving, and that's off his leg. It's a Miami basketball, so now a chance to bring it down to 10, or maybe if you hit a 3 into single digits.
Well, it's exactly what you wanted to do, get it at least to the 10-minute mark at 10 or under. And so now you're in position to do that. Kiapway now on Michael Weathers.
One of the Cardinals' better lockdown perimeter defenders. Tyler pretty good out on the perimeter as well. He has Haruna.
High pick and roll. Great pass.
And McClain off the glass. Moses hedged, stayed up to take off the drive for Weathers. That left McClain open. on the drive and the roll. And it's a 10-point ball game.
And you notice the defensive pressure is picked up for Miami.
And a foul. That's on McClain. 2 on the big man.
Number 11, Logan McClain with the Miami foul, his first.
What will be interesting to see is if Miami continues to pick its energy up. If Ball State can in turn match it, which is what had James Whitford so disappointed in Ball State's loss to Bowling Green on Saturday.
Well, no question about it. Felt like the Cardinals were out-toughed by the Falcons.
And House with a hard foul goes to the free throw line on the baseline inbounds. That's the 5th on Miami. A lot of fouls, 5 on each side. In a game that's featured a lot of free throws. Miami is 15 of 22. Ball State is 9 of 16. 2 more fouls, each side will shoot the rest of the way. And Franco House has a game-high 15. Which, boy, did he ever need.
No question about it. And Franco House has really come on, averaging 13 points a game versus Miami last year in 3 ball games, and picks up right where he left off. And we talked about it, Joel. Franco House is involved on the offensive end for Ball State. Seems like the entire flow of the offense is better.
Cardinals now extending their defense, trying to up that pressure. Miami 5 of 7 in the second half. Now 5 of 8 after it shot 26% in the first.
There's one of those 50-50 balls. Amanda was talking to Coach Brian Thornton. That one ended up in the Red Hawks' hands.
6th offensive rebound does not lead to points. Shot clock was winding down on Haruna.
Great pass.
And House is harmed. Good foul there by Dion Wade. Make sure he doesn't hit the dunk. And Franco House will have to earn it. That's the 3rd on Dion Wade.
House back at the free throw line, shoots 2.
And Joel, this will be the 11th and 12th free throw attempts for Franco House. And really, if you look at his game this year, this is an area that's been lacking. He's only had 43 attempts on the entire season coming into this game. So, again, that just shows you the involvement. Only 4 field goal attempts, but look how many times he's been to the charity stripe.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at where his point distribution has come from. He has 17 points, 9 of it at the stripe.
Man, and what a luxury when your big guys can knock in free throws.
How stupid is that stat line going to look? 18 points on 4 field goals. That's efficiency for you. Ball State by 14. Wide open shot. Jake Wright passed it up.
You know, Wright's been struggling. Normally he would not hesitate to shoot that, and that time he paused.
Weber pokes it free. Has a trailing Sellers. House on Mills. Doesn't need the free throw line. Give Franco House 20. And Ball State's lead is 16. Band starting to get into it. Student section starting to get into it. And it stays with Miami underneath. Cardinals will send Trey Moses in. Franco House headed to the bench.
Watch Michael Weathers here. I watched the game against Toledo a couple times. He inbounds it and ends up with the rock back in his hands.
Gets deflected there, and it hit the backboard. It'll stay with Miami. And 15 on the shot clock. And Kiapwe will sub for Sellers. You know what's amazing is the scoring for Miami this year. I mean, this is a game you would have expected to see from last season's Miami team. Averaged 63 points a game. Today, or this year, 74 points a game and has scored 80 on 4 occasions. It didn't score 80 until the last game of the season last year. And that'll help for Michael Weathers. He has 12. 13 is the lead.
That was a clutch basket there. Again, he inbounded it, ended up outside the arc, and just one bench point still for Miami, Joel. So it's been all about the starters right now.
Along to Jake Bischoff. Sellers wants the ball, and we've got a push foul against McLean as Persons was trying to get it to him. 3 fouls on McLean, all in the second half, and the lead is 13. The high-speed race has slowed down quite a bit, but we'll give him credit because I'll be honest, I still can't make that shot, and I've got about 30 years on them. So Ball State up by 13. Midway through the second half, David Ehad, Joel Gaddad, Amanda Smith, our statistician today, Dan Wolfert, rest of our crew here in Muncie. Miami keeps trying. It's doing its best Sisyphus right now. It's rolling the boulder. It's just having it roll back down a little bit. Can't really break through that 10-point barrier.
Well, Joe, you keep using those big words like Sisyphus. I'm not sure what that means, but you're right. They can't get over the hump. They're getting to that point, but Ball State seems to have an answer. So critical juncture right here. Which team can go on a mini run?
Yapwe almost took one to the head there on the pass from Moses. And another foul on Miami. That's now 7 on the Redhawks. And Ball State is going to shoot for 11:30. The foul on Dion Wade is his 4th. Kyle Mallers will go to the line. Meanwhile, Ball State has 5 personals. So Miami is going to shoot in 2 whistles. Charlie Cardinals behind you, David. Look out. Ball State's mascot almost took your head off. Be a headline. No pun intended.
Not how I want to go out, as much as I love Charlie Cardinal. But you're right, Joel. Free throws will play a big part down the stretch here. If your Cardinals continue to attack, go inside out. And again, look at the job Persons on Weathers.
Mills got lost underneath and takes advantage against the freshman Mallers.
Let me tell you, Miami has made a living. The one area they've had success has been the high-low game. Those passes from the point down to the block.
Persons on the penetration. Tried the circus layup that would not go.
Well, Weathers didn't get credit for a block, but gave him credit for the shot change.
You mentioned Wright laying off threes. Not shy there. Jake Wright's first bucket. And just like that, a 10-point game. Where will the boulder roll?
Well, we talked about Kiapwe needing a made 3. Wright needed one, Joe. He had made just 3 of his last 20.
And a silly foul by Moses. 3 on the big man. Calls himself the three-point specialist. Doesn't get much prettier than that.
Well, the transfer from Citadel, very smooth stroke, and sometimes shooters just need to see one go through the net. If you're Ball State, Kiapwe has the assignment now. You've got to know where Wright is.
How about a shooting? How good a shooting team was the Citadel, by the way? Jake Wright and Matt Van Soit were down there from Indiana State. A couple of transfers. McLean, offensive foul. And Trey Moses knew it. He asked for it and then dead-faced just walked off. Down to play offense.
Well, cleaning up post play, and you saw it there.
That is a confident center.
Well, you're talking to the guy that was in the actual video, Trey Moses, that the NCAA put out on how we should clean up post play. So I guess Trey would know more than anybody when a foul's committed down there. But that's a big foul. That's McLean's 4th. They do not have much post presence.
Travel on Sean Sellers, Ball State's 15th turnover. Miami has actually cleaned its turnover game up after it had 10 in the first half.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here, Joel. Harper comes in from McLean. You know, Harper's a big body, can get you some rebounds. He has not scored in the last 6 games. McLean's coming off of a game where he had 25, so you lose a lot of offense. It'll be interesting to see how long Cooper keeps McLean on the bench.
You would put Dion Wade in, but he has 4 fouls too. And Harper's just a freshman, so keep that in mind. Weathers. Wright's trying to get free. 3 to shoot. And a contested 3 for Mills, not where he's strongest. Ball State up 10.
It was a really good possession defensively for Ball State, forcing a 3 with the shot clock going down.
Kiapway to Sellers. He has not scored yet. And now the 9th Cardinal to bury one.
And Joel, where did it start? Into the block. The double team came. Kind of the hockey assist, great ball movement, but it all started on the pass inside.
Weathers trying to take it into his own hands.
Michael Weathers.
Ankle breaker, Michael Weathers. Back to 11. But again, Miami cannot break through that 10-point barrier.
Well, let's see. Does the double team come?
Moses got stripped, got it back, and then fouls Weathers. That's 4 on Trey Moses. It's also 7 on Ball State.
Trey Moses with the Ball State foul. That's his 4th.
Good range for one Sean Sellers, and then, ouch. Might have broken his own ankles.
Boy, it's going to be fun to watch this young guy over the next 3.5 years as he develops.
He's going to be one of those guys who, at the end of that, you're going to say it was fun watching him for the last 7 years. Just has that feel of a guy that's just going to be around for a long time. Both teams are shooting free throws for the remainder of the game on every foul.
It's amazing, Joel. Think of how many times he gets to the free throw line with a slight build at 160. Once he puts a little muscle and meat on that frame, he can use his height advantage over smaller point guards and really get to the paint.
Currently, and I don't mean this in a negative way, it's just fact of the matter, his biceps are the same size as his calves. That will change with an off season of lifting, squats, deadlifts, cleans. Give Weathers 16 now. And his team has cracked the barrier. It's a 9-point game with about 9 minutes to go.
Boy, and I'd be shocked if Franco House doesn't get a touch on this possession.
Ball State in the second half, just 4 of 10 from the floor.
They tried to set him up with a back pick. There you see the good D by Haruna, just shut off the driving lane by Tyler.
That's not fouled after the 2 early ones in the first. This time Tyler gets by him, and as I say that, Jeremy Tyler will go back to the free throw line, and with 1 on the shot clock.
Well, as good a D as Haruna played prior to that, just a little blow-by Jeremy Tyler, and as you said, Joel, really bailed him out, only 1 on the shot clock.
And he didn't hit the rim on that shot either, partly because he was fouled, but still. 3 points for Jeremy Tyler. Ball State at the free throw line tonight, David. 15, now 16 of 23. Miami is 17 of 24. We may very well see 70 or more free throws in this game tonight.
No question about it. You haven't even hit the 8-minute mark.
And Jeremy Tyler introducing himself to the Miami coaching staff.
You know, Jeremy Tyler only playing in his 6th game, coming off a suspension. It's taken him a while to get into the flow, but the one area that's not been affected is this free throw shooting. 13 of 14 now for Tyler this season.
You look at a guy shooting 90+% from the free throw line, 18% from 3. Trying to get the ladder on track. Weathers. That's a good play by Tajay Teague. They say Teague got all ball, although Cooper asking for them to talk about it. They're going to reverse the call. It's a Miami basketball. Well, looks like good defense by Tajay Teague.
And you can see why Lamont Simpson was saying clean, definitely not a foul, and the ball does go off of Weathers' leg. He's the last person to touch it. Now Frank Spencer.
They teed up John Cooper in there as well. And John Cooper is still hot. Kiapwe's first free throw on the technical. John Cooper's face is red. And Francis bends the second one in. It was a hard play. I don't think it was a foul.
Well, I don't think it was a foul. And the interesting thing about the technical is it looked as if it was going to be a held ball and Miami would retain it. But because of the technical, all of a sudden the Cardinals get free throws out of this. So, you know, net, the Red Hawks were still going to get the basketball.
And now you went from at one point being down 9. Air ball put back with a foul. Well, you were down 13, now a chance to make it 10. Free throw will come on the other side of the timeout, though. We've reached the under 8 in Miami. Ball State leading Miami here at home, trying to pick up its first Mid-American Conference win of the season. Take a look at the foul just before the timeout. Really good rebound putback. It sends Marcus Weathers to the line. David, he's been red hot. The two brothers today have done virtually all of the scoring for Miami.
Yeah, Weathers has had a terrific game. Marcus, that is, 15 points. I think this is his third traditional and one opportunity. His career high coming in was 18, so he's nearing that. So Michael Weathers with 16.
Chance for 17, falling short.
And McLean back out there with 4 fouls. Trey Moses has 4. He's on the bench. Miami try to protect McLean a little bit. Jumps into a 3-2 zone.
See how Ball State handles that. Usually a really good shooting team. Struggled in the loss to Bowling Green. Tonight, 6 of 15 from 3. Kiapwe left open. Rebound Teague. That's the thing about a zone. It makes it hard to find bodies and box out.
Yeah, no question about it. Credit Tajay Teague on the weak side, going right to the glass, the easy putback. The Cardinals continue to dominate the glass.
Got a foul in the post in the meantime. That's on Franco House. And more free throws. It's the 9th on Ball State. So this will be for 17. Second chance for him. And he'll get another.
And we are now up to 41 fouls.
Take a look at the Weathers brothers. How about the fact that there are 17 pairs of brothers playing together in the NCAA?
Pretty cool.
7, that seems like a high number. There's only 351 teams. They are the second highest scoring duo, though.
And really extending this now, almost a 1-3-1 trap.
Teague left open. He's hit 2 threes tonight. For the second time in his career, if you dare the freshman, he will take you up on it.
2 big offensive possessions in a row by Tajay Teague. The putback and then the 3. It was right there again, Joel. Miami to creep right back in this thing to cut it to 10 or 9, and a big answer.
An awesome help side defense. Teague closed out on that. Helps force the turnover. Ball State back up 14, keeping Miami at arm's length. Weber, a more traditional shooter, and Teague misses the putback dunk.
Well, James Whitford will have no problem with that. And there you see Teague. You called it, partner. You leave him alone. There's no question he can knock that in.
It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but his Twitter handle is @crossbowtaj. And when you ask him what that means, he says, because my jumper is as accurate as a crossbow. Now, it's a crossbow that might need to be recalibrated, but still, he believes that it's as accurate as a crossbow. There's no lack of confidence for the freshman.
Well, absolutely not. You got to love that. He's 2 of 2 behind the arc today and very efficient on the season, 7 of 15.
Mills drives on Teague, step back, and he scores over top the freshman. Nice wily move.
Mills, another guy out there playing with 4 fouls.
Tyler an answer, and the three's now falling. All that has to happen is Teague hit a few, and then everybody else can feel more at home. Weathers another answer.
Man, that is pretty. When you can break somebody down off the dribble, the threat of getting to the rim.
Back to back for Tyler.
Speaking of pretty, and Taylor Persons twice finds Tyler from the corner.
Timeout, John Cooper. Ball State's lead is 16. Cardinals 6 of 12 in the second half from 3. That'll do the trick. Well, he said the free throw shooting was on. Maybe the three-point shooting coming back for Jeremy Tyler after that suspension.
Well, he really needed that, and almost a carbon copy. Taylor Persons looking ahead. Weathers a little slow to close out, and nothing but the bottom of the net for Jeremy Tyler.
Smiles on faces. You know, there's two sides to that coin. Obviously, you feel good when shots go in. So that's going to be a takeaway, is, hey, the shots went in tonight. But James Whitford also, I'm sure, is reminding his guys in that huddle, you can't let whether shots go in or not dictate your entire play. He's going to want to see them come out and now play defense, too.
Hey, look, there's no question about it. I mean, I don't know if you saw the game with Nevada the other day. 14-point deficit in the last minute. Anything can happen. If you're John Cooper, it's got to be frustrated. You get made baskets, but then immediately give up threes at the other end when you're trying to get back in this thing.
Mills a three. It's the front of the iron. That was Nevada winning at New Mexico, too. It was on the road. Did it in overtime.
Incredible finish.
You'd think you'd seen it all when Ball State came back from down 11 against UT Martin with about a minute and a half to go in the CIT tournament last year. Although that was the same day Northern Iowa and Texas A&M had their showdown in the NCAA tournament. 4 to shoot for Moses, using the glass. Largest lead for the Cardinals here with 18 points.
Terrific patience by Trey Moses. Fought off the double team when it backed off, simply took his time, went over that left shoulder with the little jump hook.
How about the momentum swings, David? A couple of minutes ago, Ball State was looking at its lead shaved to 9. First time in single figures of the half. Now it's doubled. And Weathers with a little finger roll. 20 for Michael Weathers. He and his brother have combined tonight for 37 of Miami's 62 points.
Incredible statistic. We talked about him getting it done in all areas, Joe. He's also chipped in 3 assists and 4 rebounds.
John Cooper got those guys late in the signing period as well, and he said it just so happened he had 2 scholarships available. I think he's happy he still had 2 scholarships available. They wanted to be a package deal. He's gotten 37 points from them tonight.
Yeah, and it worked out great. Let's face it, that is a tough thing for a lot of schools to give up 2 scholarships. He happened to have them available. They were going to come as a package deal, and it worked out fantastic. Oh, Sellers mishandled, had a wide open look.
Persons guarded, hits it anyway. First bucket of the half for Taylor Persons, and now you just get the feeling that something flipped in Ball State's switch. $19 points. Ball State's lead. It's Weathers again.
Smooth as silk right there.
Trying to poke it free. James Whitford was almost a help sixth guy on offense there.
And he got the steal, not Whitford, but Michael Weathers.
It'll be a Miami basketball final 4 minutes here in Muncie, and the Cardinals have the lead. Ball State has this game, at least you would think, comfortably in hand at this point, although John Cooper going to try to rally the troops here. Take a look at the Mid-American Conference standings coming in, David. No surprise at the top of the East. What's caught your eye most, though, here in the first couple of games?
Well, I think it's going to be, Akron has won, I believe, 25 consecutive home games. They're on the road tonight, I believe, at Central Michigan.
They won by 4, so Akron now 3-0. Western Michigan beat Toledo tonight, so the Broncos got their first win.
And there you go. I mean, Toledo having difficulties on the road, even though they've won 5 in a row. Western had been struggling. It just shows you the importance of protecting the home court and how tough it is to win on the road, Joel.
Weathers had been so good in the second half, an air ball there. Eastern Michigan is beating Bowling Green by almost 30 on the road tonight. It's been a kooky league.
Franco.
That's a travel, young man. James Whitford trying to get his guys back to play defense.
That got a wry smile out of Franco as if nobody else in the gym was watching. Cardinals come out, mix it up themselves first time all night with the 1-3-1.
James Whitford using the opportunity with the lead to work on that secondary defense. And Wright able to bury a 3. Credit Sean Sellers, though, he had the hand in the face. And then credit Wright for hitting the shot.
Yeah, as we said, 3 for his last 20. All of a sudden, 1 goes through, didn't hesitate, and bam, 2 in a row.
Miami's shooting, David, 64% in the second half still. So things have gone well offensively for the Red Hawks. Sellers cannot get the bounce. Push ahead is a turnover. Ball State from here will go to Buffalo. The Bulls trailing by 3 against Ohio right now after they got waxed. They had a almost 30-point blowout in their Mid-American Conference opener. And Miami will head home and take on Akron. First East Division game for Miami. Ball State on a 4-game streak against the East. Has not played an inter-division foe yet.
Well, I think what it's going to come down to in this league, Joe, is protect the home court and then who can steal some road wins. And let's face it, it's all about, for all these teams, preparing to make a run in March.
3 seconds to shoot. House puts it up. And the rebound, Haruna, with the clock expiring. 90 seconds left. And a foul will send Weathers back to the line. That's the 4th on Franco House. And Marcus Weathers looking for 20 points. He has 17.
Well, Franco House thought he got all ball, and I can't disagree with him.
He looked like one of those toys you used to get. I think they're Dutch initially, where you press the button and the entire doll just collapses. And when you let go and it stands straight back up.
I think you're showing the age gap here between us because I'm not familiar with that doll. We'll ask our Stats R Us Dan Wolfert.
Franco's
nod your head yes or no if you're familiar with that, Dan.
His knees just buckled, and I'm the only one.
How about the game for Marcus Weathers? That's a career high for him, 19 points.
Got a foul on his brother on the inbound. Miami trying to steal its way back in. And that means free throws on the other end. We're now in the double bonus on both teams. So Taylor Persons will go to the free throw line.
Taylor Persons at the free throw line for the Cardinals.
And if anybody needs some confidence at the free throw line, Taylor 0 for 3 tonight.
He just heaves that one. Give it to me, let's put it up.
13, Jake Redneck, Miami.
Very uncharacteristic for him. As we said, 78%.
They'll finish 2 for 5, presumably, at the line tonight. 11 for Taylor Persons. Tyler comes back in. Weber likely done for the night. Finishes with 7 all in the first half. Haruna had the first bucket of the night for Miami and has not scored since. He gets tied up, and there's a foul on Persons. That is 4 on him.
Taylor Persons picks up the Ball State foul on the loose ball. It's his 4th. 30,
Talked about the composition of the Miami roster as well, David. As we come down the home stretch, Milos Jovic has not played, and Benik Kazi has not played, but everybody else, Precious Aya, out with an ACL tear. But John Cooper has put together a roster this year that speaks 15 different languages, and some of those guys can converse between themselves in different dialects. So John Cooper's coaching practice, he's got 2 guys talking French.
Yeah, and he's got to be looking over his shoulder saying, I wonder what exactly they're talking about right now. Is it
I heard
about
you say
me?
Cooper.
You know, the one thing about this Miami team, they're only going to get better. They've only got 1 senior on the roster in Jake Bischoff, 7 juniors, 7 freshmen.
You have 8 of the 16 international players in the league in this game. Moses missed the home run. Good D by Persons stepping underneath. And the Mills triple is pure. Timeout taken by John Cooper. 9 for Rod Mills. And with a minute to go, it is a 9-point game. Hold the phone. John Cooper burning his last timeout. And that's why buckets like this, even in, you presume, garbage minutes, are critical.
No question about it. And Haruna, nice little pump fake, draws the defense, and Wade with the big 3. And as we said, you know, it's fresh off of this week, seeing it done, 14 points in a minute. Now, the one thing I'll say that allowed them to get back in that game was, I think it was New Mexico State missed
free throws
like crazy. So if you're Ball State right now, you got to get the ball inbounds. Miami, try to get a steal. If not, foul immediately. But if you're Ball State, you can salt this thing away at the free throw line.
Well, we mentioned the upcoming schedules for these teams. Buffalo next for Ball State, then Central Michigan. They'll get the nation's leading scorer, Marcus Keene, in this building. Miami, we mentioned, has Akron next. And then after the Zips, they'll go a couple of MAC West road games. Northern Illinois coming up, Central Michigan. Marcus Keene, by the way, today, we don't have a full box score. His team lost by 4 to Akron. We'll just assume he scored 50. Better guess than not. Press here from the Redhawks. And Weathers knocked it free, but they'll get him for his 2nd foul.
That was good execution of an inbounds play against the press. Cardinals did a great job of spacing. Sellers plenty of room to roam, and you get it in the hands of one of your better free throw shooters.
34 shot Sellers at the free throw line for Ball State, shooting 2.
Sean Sellers did not start today. James Whitford, quite frank, after the loss to Bowling Green, said they had to do some soul searching. They've got to play the right guys. They've got to start the right guys. And he said they had too much what he calls BCD, blame, complain, defend behavior. Sellers did not start today. But, David, your impressions of the way he's played, he's seen 24 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his stat line, you know, on the afternoon for Sean Sellers, and that free throw was big, but just 3 points, 1 of 5 from behind the arc.
Has he done the other things to you? The little things, maybe? Drive and Weathers missed.
I think he's done some of it. You know, I think Kiapwe getting the start has played a really good game at both ends of the floor. So whether or not Sean has done enough in coach's eyes to insert him back in instead of Francis, not sure.
Ball State will go back to the free throw line here. Miami's going to try to foul its way back in.
Look, the thing about Sean Sellers, he's 16th in the entire NCAA in career three-point percentage at 43. He can flat out light it up. So there's no question moving forward, Sean Sellers is going to play a major role with this ball club.
Yapway gets one. Ball State by 11, half a minute to go. And a steal by Sellers. And Persons will hug it, and they'll let them play this out. Ball State gets its first Mid-American Conference victory and halts the 0-2 start. Cardinals dug themselves a hole, but tonight they picked up the shovel.
Well, tremendous success behind the arc. Ball State 10 of 23. And they got the toughness that James Whitford was looking for. Showed up on the defensive end tonight, Joel.
85-74 is your final score. Ball State goes to 10-6, 1-2 in conference. Miami 8-8, 1-2 in Mid-American Conference play. At Buffalo this weekend for Ball State. That game will be right here on ESPN3. Miami and Akron in Oxford also back here on ESPN3 coming up this weekend. James Whitford will be with Amanda Smith.
Coach, an 11-point win tonight. Marcus and Michael Weathers, though, they did have 41 points. So how were you guys able to limit what the rest of their team was able to do offensively?
Marcus Weathers is a really special player, and he did almost all of his work in the second half. And but I thought our guys fought. We defended for the most part the right way, and big win for us.
After that loss against Bowling Green, we talked a little bit about the lack of effort you saw from the team. Tonight they were getting after loose balls, taking charges. What was the difference in today's game?
I think they made up their mind. You know, we watched it on film, and sometimes you got to have a little reality check. And it was a much better effort. Now we got 16 of these left, or 15 of them left. We got to do it for all 15.
Congrats on the win, Coach. Thanks. Joel?
Thank you, Amanda. Cardinals victorious and a happy James Whitford. Again, an 85-74 final score here tonight. For David Iha, Amanda Smith, the rest of our crew, my name is Joel Gadet, saying so long from Muncie, where Ball State is a winner. To watch a replay of this and other games on our ESPN family of networks, head to watchespn.com or download the ESPN app. 85-74 the final score. This has been a production of ESPN.